Thank you for coming to our seminar on medical mailing. I appreciate it very much. My name is Bob Heid. I've worked with Chuck at TWI Healthcare for about 10 years now, doing direct mail and internet marketing. And in 10 years, I have learned at least two things about direct mail. What you don't know can hurt you, so pay attention. And secondarily, what doesn't kill you can make you stronger if you pay attention. So with that, let's get started. Now, when I was learning how to give presentations, they always taught me, tell everybody what you're going to say it, and then tell them what you told them, so maybe they'll be able to take something away from all the valuable time that they've invested in your presentation. So I'm going to do my best, and we're going to start out with, what are we going to talk about? Okay, the first thing we're going to start out with is the bad news. We're going to tell you about what can kill you. What are the things that are lurking out there that can create problems for you and for your practice? And the first of those is compliance issues. And one of the biggest causes of HIPAA violations in private medical practices are mailing lists. Your client list, your client database, your patient database. They are dirty. There's a lot of mistakes in there. You just don't know it. The new Omnibus rule regarding a notification of your active patients of privacy practices. It's real, it's there, it's being enforced. Business associate agreements. What do business associate agreements have to do with mailing and marketing? Well, a lot. So we'll go over that a little bit too. And then we're going to go over a case study that involves us, a subject very near and dear to my heart, non-window business envelopes. So we'll go over that and you'll understand why that's there. And then we're going to take all of these pending issues, the things that can potentially create problems for you and for your practice, and we're going to talk about how to turn those things around and use them as tools to help make your practice stronger, make your business stronger, and make no mistake, a medical practice is a business. How you can reach out to your patient database and get them to come back in the door. Specialists need special lists. There is a wealth of information out there that a lot of people just don't know exists. And special event marketing. If there's something new, the people in your neighborhood need to know about it. And then we're going to do, like I said, we're going to tell you what we're going to tell you, then we're going to tell you what we told you, and hopefully you'll be able to take something away from this. All right, so let's start with the bad news. Mailing lists. Misdirected mail is one of the biggest causes of HIPAA violations for private medical practices. And what a lot of people don't realize, and what the US Post Office gets a lot of questions about, is that 17% of all Americans move every year. 17%. That's a lot of people moving. And when they move, they're supposed to register their new address. Most of them do, some of them don't. Think about it yourself. If you're doing billing, if you're doing patient notifications, how many returned envelopes do you get every month? You know, the little envelope with a little yellow sticker on it that says not deliverable as addressed, not able to forward, patient moved, not able to forward. Well, you know, each one of those little envelopes with a little yellow sticker on it is a potential HIPAA violation. If that actually got delivered instead of being returned, that would be a HIPAA violation. And if somebody actually opens that letter, looks at the information on the inside, and then decides, maybe I should call John Morgan, I can make some money off of this, you just bought an audit. So CMS is going to come in and audit your practice. But it's such an easy problem to keep from happening. Simply clean up your lists. There are companies out there that can clean up your client lists, your patient lists for you. First thing we're going to do is a CAST certification. CAST certification basically scrubs your patient list to make sure that the address is accurate. 123 North Main Street is really an address. Okay, then we're going to do delivery point verification, which means that the post office actually delivers mail to 123 North Main Street. You'd be surprised how many times we get clients' personal mailing lists, their client database, and they'll say, but I know that they live at 123 North Main Street. I've been there. I've visited the place. I've been there many times. Well, sure, 123 North Main Street is a real address, but the post office doesn't deliver mail there. They've gotten a post office box. They have it delivered to another facility. They have it delivered to another address. It goes to their mother's house. Somehow the post office is not delivering mail to 123 North Main Street, and if you leave that address on there, it's either going to get thrown away, returned back to you, or delivered to the wrong address, which is going to create some problems. The last thing we do is we scrub it for the national change of address. That's where the post office keeps a very big, very accurate, very up-to-date database of every single deliverable mail address in the country and who lives there. So when somebody moves and they file a change of address, that immediately goes into the software and we can pick it up as early as the next day. So when somebody moves, what we do is we scrub it. It gives you the new address, where John Smith moved to, 123 South Main Street. It gives you the old address, 123 North Main Street, and then we can return that to you and you can fix your own patient databases by going back in, searching for John Smith at 123 North Main Street and changing the north to a south. It's really, really just that simple. All right, so I mentioned the Omnibus rule. Does everybody know what the Omnibus rule is? Does anybody care what the Omnibus rule is? Okay, the Omnibus rule was an edict that came out in September of last year saying that you have to deliver your privacy practices policy to each and every one of your active patients. Each and every one of your active patients. Now, a lot of people have taken to just handing them out at the front desk when people are checking out. Not compliant. A, not 100% of your patients come through your office every single year. B, if you change a comma, if you change a period, if you change thee to thou or something, make any change to it at all, you have to reissue it. And you need to, if CMS comes in for an audit, you need to be able to prove that every single one of your active patients got it. You're not keeping a list at the front desk of who you've given these things to. You're just not. So what's an easy solution? You can mail it to them. Picture this. You give us your client database. We clean it up. We do all the change of addresses and send them back to you. We clean up all the bad addresses, the places where there really isn't a 123 North Main Street. We clean that up. We clean up your entire database. We give it back to you. And then we use it to mail your privacy statements to each and every one of your active clients. You've got a record of that mailing. So if CMS ever comes in for an audit, you got it. You've got it taken care of. But sending your privacy practice policy statement out to each and every one of your clients could get to be a little expensive. I mean, that's a lot of paper. It's going into an envelope. It's getting, postage put on it. Even at bulk rate postage, you're talking 25, 26 cents in postage to send the thing out. That ends up being a lot of money. Secondarily, you can send them a little postcard and tell them that your privacy practices are posted on your website and that people can simply go to your website, look at your privacy practices if they're interested, and all you had to do is mail them a little postcard. Oh, and by the way, on that little postcard, you can put a little statement on it that says, hey, we haven't seen you in a while. Why don't you schedule a follow-up visit and come see us? You're marketing your firm, your practice, while you're complying with the Omnibus rule, notifying patients of your privacy practices. This is good stuff, guys. Seriously. Okay. The next one is business associate agreements. Yawn. Does anybody even know what a business associate agreement is? You've got them? Good. Thank you. Use them. They can save your butt. Business associate agreements are not contracts with vendors that obligate you to do anything. They're contracts with vendors giving them your expectations on what they are going to do with your confidential patient PHI, patient information. It can save your butt, not if, but when there is a breach in your practice, and there will be. Think of how many people have access to your patient information now. You've got electronic healthcare, or electronic records now. So all of the people that installed the software, all of the people that support the software, all of the technicians that have to come in and maintain your computers or pull the viruses off of it or You name it. There's hundreds of people, literally, that have availability to confidential patient health information. If that gets out, it's a HIPAA violation. If you don't have a policy that covers that, it's a HIPAA violation. If you don't have a HIPAA compliance officer in your practice that's controlling that information, it's a HIPAA violation. Business associate agreement simply becomes a contract between you and your vendors on how to treat that information and what to do if, not if, when there's a breach. So they're cheap, they're easy, they exist. Chuck can help you get one. Use them with all of your vendors. Seriously, it's Chuck Wright with TWI. Use them with all of your vendors. Here's a case study. The fourth largest breach of HIPAA information, fourth largest HIPAA violation in history happened in April of last year when a computer programming error, gosh, computer programming errors, computers never have glitches, they never do anything unexpected or stupid, screwed up a mailing. It commingled patient records and they got sent out to 187,000 patients. It was actually a mailing. A paper in an envelope sent out. It just completely screwed the thing up. And that is huge. Business associate agreement would help cover whomever owned that initial data and keep them from the fines, potential jail time, all the other ramifications. The regulations are getting tougher, the penalties are getting tougher. It really pays to have a BAA in place. And I can prove it. This is why I hate non-window business envelopes. We were doing a mailing for a medical practice, rather large medical practice. We were sending out 9,000 patient notifications that contained confidential information. The medical practice insisted on using a non-window, a regular number 10 envelope. Now you have a printed piece of paper that has confidential information on it, and you have an envelope that's got a name and address on it, and you have to match them up perfectly 9,000 times. This is done in a production environment. This is done on printers that print 100 pages a minute. This is done on folding and inserting machines that process about 3,000, 4,000 letters an hour. This is a very, that's a big job. Somebody sneezed. One person sneezed, took their eye off the ball for less than a second, and Mr. Smith's letter got in Mr. Jones's envelope, and Mr. Jones's letter got in Mr. Smith's envelope. And then somebody complained about it. It was huge. It was a fecal flurry of epic proportions. But having a business associates agreement in place with this medical practice set their expectations to us, which kept them from getting in any trouble, and gave us exact guidelines on how to deal with it, how to report it, who to report it to, how to take care of the situation. It was handled perfectly. Everybody was happy at the end of the day. And without the business associates agreement, this would not have been a happy ending. So that's why I'm so excited about business associate agreements. And window envelopes. Seriously, people, if you do nothing else today, go back to your practices, take every box of non-window envelopes you have, put them in the parking lot, set them on fire, roast some marshmallows, hold hands, sing Kumbaya, do something, but get them out of your practices. Because if we, with the systems and procedures we have, if somebody at our place can sneeze and make a mistake, I guarantee somebody at your practice can sneeze and make a mistake. And the ramifications are just too much. Go buy a box of double window envelopes. You don't have to pay for printing the envelope. Sorry, Chuck. You don't have to worry about printing the envelope. Your return address shows through the top. The patient address shows through the bottom. You never have to make a mistake. Okay, so how do we take all these potential pitfalls, these issues, these snake pits, and turn them into opportunities to grow our practices? Well, patient communication as a marketing tool. One of the things that I said earlier about sending out a postcard and advising people that they can go online and see your privacy practices, online, and then put a little reminder on there that they hadn't signed up for an appointment in a while, we hadn't seen them in a while, is a very real thing. One of our clients is a company called Advanced Dermatology. They're wonderful people. It's a great practice, multi-location, lots of patients, and they believe in marketing. One of the things that we do for them is every week we send out about 1,000 postcards. Really nice, little green 6x9 postcards, very plain, very vanilla, very official looking. And on it, it says, "Dear so-and-so, we haven't seen you in a year. It is time for you to schedule a follow-up visit." That simple, that plain. And what happens is they get an 8% response rate. They send out 1,000 postcards, they get 80 responses. 80 people call up for an appointment. You know yourself, at a dermatology, what's a patient visit? 200 bucks, 300 bucks? They're making a 4,000% return on investment. I wish I could find a stock that I could go buy and get a 4,000% return on investment. It's insane. Would you spend $1 to make 40? Your mileage may vary on this. You know, I don't know that everybody's going to get the same kind of response rate that Advanced Derm did, but needless to say, Advanced Derm is a great client and very happy with the program that we helped them design. All right, we also talked about specialists needing specialists. If you're a dermatologist, we can find people that have had skin cancer. If you're an endocrinologist, we can find people that have diabetes. If you're a nephrologist, we can find people that have kidney disease. Basically, if you've got a specialty or you've got a special area of practice, or if you have something, a niche that you can market as something that's advantageous, we can find the patients that want to know about your practice. It's very simple, and these are all HIPAA compliant double opt-in lists. Somebody has, some 21-year-old gets diagnosed all of a sudden with diabetes. He's lost 50 pounds, he looks like a crack addict, he's feeling terrible, he goes and has his blood sugar taken, it's 600, they check him into the hospital, he comes home from the hospital after gaining 20 pounds back and goes online and to find out about diabetes. He clicks on a little button that says, "Send me more information." They send him an email with some more information. He clicks a little button that says, "Send me more information." He is now double opted in. His name, address, phone number, age, sex, size, you name it, everything is now sold as part of a HIPAA compliant medical list, medical ailment list. And there are people whose businesses they are to compile this kind of information. You can use it. It's legal, it's ethical, and you can use it to let patients with similar conditions know about your practice. People who want to know about your practice know about your practice. Okay, and other opportunities. You don't have to send mail just to your patients. You don't have to send mail just to people that have special ailments. Your neighborhood wants to know about you. Do you have a new associate? Is there a new doctor? Is there a new feature or benefit? Is there a new piece of equipment? Tell the people in your area. If you're going to move or establish a new practice location, tell all your patients about the new location, but also take a 3-mile ring, which is about how far somebody will travel easily. Take a 3-mile ring around your new office and just let everybody know that you're there. You'd be surprised how many people you'll pick up. Take one day and have early hours. Open up at 6 o'clock so that people that work for a living have an opportunity to come in early and visit you before they have to take part of their day away from their paying job to come visit the doctor. Stay open late so that single mom with 3 kids has an opportunity to stop by on the way home from work and not interrupt her work day, not take a couple hours off from work to go to the doctor. If you're going to do anything, just let people know about it. It really gets a lot of response. One of the things we're doing for one practice right now is that we've put together these really nice packages and we're mailing them out to synergistic physicians, people that are in a position to give referrals. And we send them the capabilities, what makes me special, what is great about my practice, how our practices are synergistic and we could work together. And besides, if you send me referrals, I'll send you referrals, which is a good thing for everybody involved. But that's another way that you can help market your practice. And you can target demographics by neighborhood. If you do the post office's work for them, they give you a break on the postage. Like if you're going to send a letter out, you got to put a 49-cent stamp on it. If you're going to go hit every mailbox in this neighborhood, the postage goes down to 15 cents. That's a nice break. So for 15 cents a piece on the postage, you can send to an entire neighborhood. And you can pick neighborhoods that are desirable by demographic. Some people, like plastic surgeons, for instance, would want a neighborhood where there are affluent people with disposable income. There are some practices, one that we're working for now, that is looking for Medicaid patients because Medicaid reimburses them more than insurance does. This is very cool. So they're looking for neighborhoods of lower means. So they're mailing to these areas. It's all on how you pick it, what you do. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to take a lot of pain and anguish, but you can market your practice very simply and very cost effectively. So, as I promised, here are your takeaways. First, clean your mailing list. There are people that can do that and help you do that. Communicate your privacy practices. It's required. It's a HIPAA violation if you don't, and you can use it as a marketing opportunity at the same time. Use business associate agreements. It'll keep your butt out of trouble. Educate and assign HIPAA compliance officer inside of your practice. It's required. Again, it'll help keep you out of trouble. All right, now everybody, please repeat after me. Never use non-window envelopes. Thank you. And market your practice. Please, take a little time. Just let people know that you're there. Let people know anything that you've got that's new. Remind people that they haven't come to see you for a while, and your practice will grow. So with that, are there any questions? Yes, sir.
Return on investment for advanced dermatology?
8%. 8%.
That was response rate. What was the ROI?
Oh, 4,000%.
4,000.
But that is
Four.
based on 200, 300. How about insured people who do a copay and they're paid 80 for the visit, or?
Well, the insurance is going to pay you whatever they're going to pay you for the visit.
Right, which is for follow-ups or nothing.
Right, and you've got the copay. So you're a family practice. You're making $125 a patient visit. You're a plastic surgeon. You're making $500 a patient visit. It all depends.
Average.
Yeah.
Mostly.
What the example I gave was a specific. That was advanced dermatology, and they're making a 4,000% ROI. I wish I was making a 4,000% ROI on their business. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Okay. Right now, do you all take care of printing and sending out statements and everything?
Statements? We can. It's not a business that we want to get into. There are other people in town, to be quite honest, that are much better at that than we are. Actually, there's a company down the south end of town over by Lee Vista called Axis, that is their primary business, and they're much better at it than we are.
So you all just clean the database?
We clean the database and we send out mailings like the advanced derm story, like privacy practices, like any kind of marketing. The billing is honestly not our forte. Believe me, I'd tell you if it was. Anyone else? Yes.
Direct primary cares, which is the type of concierge medicine.
Yes.
I understand that we're not. I have a DPC and just started about 5 weeks ago. Non-cover entities, but we definitely try to follow all the HIPAA rules by the use, and I know this is, you're talking about direct mailing, but by the use of technology like portals, is that something that we could use? I know it's against what you're trying to bring up here.
If they're encrypted, if you have encryption.
Yeah, it's a encrypted portal,
yes.
HIPAA compliant. Okay.
Yes. That encrypted portals work fine. That's, you know, I said, been working with Chuck for 10 years doing direct mail and internet marketing. So the other side of our business, which we didn't tell you about today, yes.
And for new practices, how much would you, depending on the budget, but a direct mailing, how would it work for a direct primary care?
Right.
I've been in town forever, but this is a new concept in terms of investment.
I would look for high net worth individuals with disposable incomes, probably in an older age category, in areas of town, and I would mail them a very nice package. And I wouldn't scrimp on what I'm sending them. I would make it really nice and get it out to them and explain the concept. Lots of pictures, few words, keep it simple, lots of bullets,
Okay.
that sort of
I'll talk
thing.
to you about it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Thank you very much. I appreciate you all coming.